Hello everybody, my name is Johnnyjetrod. Welcome back to Populist News. It's been a while since our last broadcast, but I want to go ahead and welcome you back to the show and thank you for continuing to support this channel. Today we're going to update you a little bit about some current events. If you notice, I've got a lot of information out here on the desk in front of me. There's more out here that you can't see right here and right here. This is what I bring with me on short notice. Look, all this is research, all this is information that I have compiled. These are reports that are upcoming. These are reports that we're getting ready to do, stuff that I've already done, stuff that I've covered for you guys. This is my work right here for you guys right here. There's about 90 to 100 pages right here. And so some of this information is what I've compiled and already reported on since the 1st of August between this channel and my other channel, Johnnyjetrod The Patriot. So I'm going to put a link to my other channel in the description below. You'll go ahead and look for it and you can find it over there. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk a little bit about Barcelona right now. This terror attack in Barcelona happened. There are 13 dead and about 100 injured right now in a van attack in Las Ramblas. You know, it's a horrible thing when we start seeing this, that these people, they rent these vans, they drive them a distance away from where they rented it, and then they coordinate with another group of people and they set up this attack where they have been basically targeting areas where there are a lot of pedestrians in an open air shop, where here in America we would call it like a flea market, if you understand what I'm saying. And they have been targeting these type of areas, and it seems to me that they do a lot of surveillance before the actual attack comes, because if you look at the timing of these attacks that have recently happened in Nice, France, Barcelona, and any other attack with a motor vehicle where there were a lot of pedestrians in almost any area of the world, you can see that they were timed to have maximum efficiency in killing, maiming, and injuring people. So there was obviously a probe into the area, surveillance into the area, most likely pictures taken of the area, video taken of the area, timing, and all this sort of information that gets compiled into a report by these terrorists. This is not a run-of-the-mill, we're just going to go get a truck and drive it into the crowd type people. So here's my thing, the point that I'm trying to make, and I was looking for it in a report that I had, I couldn't find it, but it was a report that I wrote that I was going to do on my podcast, and it basically covers, I'll break it down to you real quick. I'm basically surmising that, and I hope this doesn't start happening, but I'm basically surmising that the terror networks that are operating within the confines of Europe right now, and the terrorist networks that are in America right now, are probably following the lead and learning from this. But I'm saying that the terrorist networks that are operating within the confines of Europe right now are probably and most likely developing a plan to be able to use suicide vehicle-borne improvised explosive devices for situations like this, because I believe in wholeheartedly that these type of attacks, these type of terrorist attacks, are very simply probes into finding out what the response time is, what the maximum capability is, how easy is it to address these type of attacks and make it happen, how can we do this, and then they're most likely recording the outcome and finding out what the outcome was and developing a plan to take it to the next level and start to begin to kill people with vehicle-borne improvised explosive devices. That's a suicide truck, a suicide car with armored plating, and which is basically just a bunch of half-inch or quarter-inch plates welded on, and a big bomb. So, you know, if you think that it can't be done, well, Timothy, you know, the Oklahoma City bomber did it with fertilizer. And so we're just going to have to be aware of those type of situations in Europe and be aware of those type of situations in America. That's what I believe their next level. These terrorists, I believe that is the next level that they are going to take this to, and I don't think it's that far off, because they have been developing their attacks greater, moving forward with these attacks, and getting more and more sophisticated in the timing, the planning, the duration, and the maximum kill efficiency. You understand what I'm saying? Now, we're going to go on to the next part of this segment, and what we're going to talk about is the globalist elite plan for humanity, and what is all these recent things happening that with the migrant invasion, the Muslims attacking each other, the Muslims attacking Christians, the infighting within the government about health care, the infighting within the government about securing our southern border, the unrest with the citizens protesting and getting violent and destroying property, and not allowing conservative speakers onto college campuses, and attacking Christians, and destroying monuments. Now we're tearing down monuments, and it's become a situation where a news organization will give an Antifa representative a fair platform, and a conservative speaker cannot even go to a major university and speak, like Berkeley, which at one point in time was a major hub for free speech. If you wanted to hear speech from a different point of view, you went to Berkeley, right? Okay, so if you compile all these issues happening, along with some other very complex issues within our government, and how the Congress and the globalist elite players within our government, the dark web of deep state operatives that play the globalist plan in our government, if you see the infighting within them, and the clear and total separation between ideals of the Republican and the Democrat Party, and both sides of the aisle are just beating each other day by day, and the media is continuing on a daily basis, mainstream media, continuing on a daily basis to find another storyline, another narrative, another lie, another twist of the truth, another gotcha type story about Donald Trump, instead of attempting to cover something in a positive light. They have continued to do this month after month after week after day after, just since the election, and it's a horrible thing that our media is doing, but it's happening. So I got a couple of reports right here that I've been looking over, and something that I printed up. I've been doing a lot of work for you guys over here. If you don't know that, I do a lot of research, I do a lot of reading, I do a lot of journaling. I print out report after report after report. There's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of information right here that I have already covered, and some that I need to cover, and stories that we're building and breaking information that we're building on. So I'm definitely working on some of that stuff for you. But look, here's this article I got right here that I'm working on, and the thing about it is the globalist elite have got this plan. It's called Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030. Now, we talked about Agenda 21 in the past over here on my other station. We've also talked about Agenda 2030 a little bit. And the thing about it is Agenda 2030 is basically the globalist elite's plan for global sustainability. It's a plan for human development. It's a plan for gaining a control, what they consider needing control over our natural resources, our food supply, our energy resources, our energy consumption, the way we consume energy, and all these other things so that they can continue to take control over that in the name of global sustainability, so that we don't get out of control, create more global warming. And that's one of the big reasons why they have that, is because they claim it's going to help global warming, and it's going to save the starving people, and it's going to produce an environment where everybody is equally taken care of. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because a lot of our globalist elite and Democrats alike, and even some Republicans, think that it's never a good idea to let a disaster go to waste. Never let chaos go to waste. Never let a crisis go to waste. And if you understand what that means is that this could be a fabricated process. It could be a developmental process by the globalist elite to continue to push us in the direction where they can come in and say, hey, we're the savior here. We need to develop this plan. We need to implement this plan immediately for control over the food, the water, the resources, because it's getting out of control. We need to stop your energy consumption in this area. Now, what happens if they continue to push us forward, and a lot of people continue to fall into that trap, and we start a race war, or we have a war within religious factions, or let's say we open ourselves up and get attacked by another nation, or let's say that a rogue nation fires a nuclear missile barrage in our direction, and a couple of them land in the Midwest, completely separating the country in two with a no-go zone of radioactive ground, and a radioactive winter ensues. What if those type of things could happen? You might be saying, well, Johnnyjetrod, those things aren't going to happen. Our government's going to protect us. You know, they have you thinking that, but how do you know it's not going to be a fabricated process to get these things placed in motion and make them happen? You see, every single day they get you used to the thought that you're going to have some crisis in your life, to get you used to the thought of you're going to see riots in your town. If you do this, we're going to riot. Every single day the liberal left media continues to give the extreme far left rioters, the Antifa, the liberal extreme left, a platform. They have continued to amplify the sound and rhetoric from people like, recently this Missouri senator came out on her Facebook page and stated she hopes Donald Trump gets assassinated. Do you understand that probably 100 years ago she would have been immediately forcibly removed from her office, in handcuffs, in jail, and prosecuted? Do you understand the implications that you have when the liberal far left continues to follow this narrative? Now, I think this is all coming from the top, people. If you really understand who owns the power in the world today, you will know that people that follow in circles where Donald Trump goes are the ones who have the power. I'm talking about Rockefellers. I'm talking about Fords. I'm talking about the people like these, the people at the very top, the Smiths, the Youngs, all these people with the power, the money. And I'm not talking about your run-of-the-mill average everyday business owner who's a multi-millionaire. I'm talking about mega billionaire company owning family entities. You understand what I'm saying? That have had old money, very old money, established money, that have their hands in our banking, they have our hands in our military, they have their hands in our government, they have government officials doing their bidding, they have their hands in our Federal Reserve, our interest rates. That's the type of people I'm talking about. The Rockefeller type people. Now, I believe that those are the ones that hold the power, that run the narrative, that have given these directives trickle down from people like that for the people who run the show in this country. And I believe that they're influencing our government and the way that we've seen all this chaos. And you have a president today, President Donald J. Trump, that ran in those circles, that knows those people personally, that has most likely been offered a position in the deep state globalist empire, the globalist elite. And I believe that he turned it down, because I believe that in his younger days, he was influenced by or met enough average everyday people that he realized, look, we are just people and we don't need to be victimized by the globalist elite, and he went rogue. I believe that his plan to become president was established many, many years ago. And I believe that the globalist elite, the globalist empire, had planned to install a puppet regime with Hillary Clinton, one more time a puppet regime, and they figured that she would be elected until election day came, and they called it off because there was just too much support for Donald J. Trump. There was just too much support. The votes kept coming so fast that they could not switch it around quick enough to change the election. Remember election night, when it happened? You remember? Pennsylvania, sitting still for hours and hours and hours and hours, stating that the votes could not be completely counted. They were wondering, is he going to take this state? Is he not going to take this state? I believe at that point in time, the globalist elite was looking for a plan to change the election and go against the American people. And they were most likely weighing their options, because some people have stated that President Barack Obama had put together a complete cabinet and placed these people in a bunker several miles from the center of the capital, Washington, D.C., and they were ready to be in place in the case of chaos, and they had to recall the election. Yeah. The globalist elite had all their chess pieces on the table. They were ready to play to the end. But it didn't happen that way. They had to concede. Donald Trump went rogue. He decided he was going to do something for the American people. And right now, this globalist elite are doing every single thing they can to trip him up, to place barriers in front of him, to slow him down, to stop him at any way they possibly can. When you've got people like John McCain breaking the healthcare debate with one vote, thumbs down, a chuckle, a laugh, and saying, let's see Donald Trump save America now, you have to wonder why for so many years in a row John McCain has been an opportunist connected to big money with his wife Cindy. He was an opportunist when he let his wife go. His wife had a major car accident while he was a POW. When he came back, he started playing around on her, married into this big money with Cindy. You know, they haven't even really lived together for a couple of decades. They do a couple of vacations a year, and I believe that it's just a set-up PR type of thing. This guy is a snake. So when you find people like that, you have to wonder, is he being influenced by the globalist elite? Are they under the table helping him out? Are they filling his pockets? Are people like him in government continuing to move in those directions, like Senator Rubio lately has continued to express feelings, ideas, and motions that have made him seem like he is moving towards the globalist elite? Yet just a year ago, he spoke for the American people. Remember? These people become mega millionaires in their time in government over the course of a couple of decades. And the only reason they stay in government that long is because they come to the table, they sit down, they make a deal, they become globalist elite, and they go against the American interest and fall in line with the globalist government. Donald Trump is not playing that game. And he went rogue. And now it's become their mission to do everything they can to topple the democracy and bring about the deep state, one world government, globalist elite plan of removing our freedoms, our liberties, our individual rights, and gaining control of every single thing. The gas, the food, the money, the air, everything. And you say, well, what do you mean by the air, John? I'm talking about pollution. They're going to shut down companies again. Donald Trump opened up the coal industry. Global warmers think that's a crazy thing to do. People like Al Gore, who said once, you know, if we don't act now, the ice caps are going to melt and flood the entire East Coast. Right after that, what did he do? Went to the East Coast, on the coast, and bought a mega million coastal estate right on the beach. Mega millions. Probably $30, $40 million, $50 million. You understand what I'm saying? Anything to topple the government. So that's what's happening. That's the plan. That's what they're doing. That is the reason why you continue to see these Soros-funded groups riot in the street. We find Craigslist ad after Craigslist ad that continue to lead back to globalist-funded programs, that continue to have connections to George Soros' Open Society Foundation, that continue to have connections to groups like Crowds on Demand, which are covertly connected to the Open Society Foundation, which are not directly connected, but when you trickle the money up, you can find it. You know, it's just a deep web, a spider web of corruption, deceit, and a plan to destroy America, because we are the final stronghold of democracy. We are the American red-blooded patriots. We are the people who are willing to stand up for our freedoms at any cost. And if you're not in the fight, I'll be in the fight for you. My name is Johnnyjetrod. I hope you enjoyed this program today. I want you to continue to come back to Populist News. We are going to run this segment on a couple of different platforms, but I want you to subscribe today. I want you to go ahead and link up to one of my support links in the description, Patreon or PayPal. Shoot some funds over here to support this channel, because this content, all this work you see in front of you here, cannot be possible without the support of people like you. And I'm in this fight for you. I'm in this global fight. I'm broadcasting globally from FEMA Region 6 right here in Houston, Texas, on 4 different platforms. And you can find them all in my description down there in the video description. Connect with me on every one of them. Support this channel. Become a subscriber today, because now is the time to join the fight for the American freedom. My name is Johnnyjetrod. Thank you, America.